Um, Hi everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon. It is me, Sailor Mini Moon. Rini here, and today I'm gonna talk about why I never gotten in a bind with ownership or double right or both by Toei or any other business, but mostly we're in Toei. First off, I don't have anything in my films that is owned and double righted by them. No songs. I don't have anything from any of the show, film, or plays that they have done, or anything, you know, or anything from film games. So, at the end of the day, that is the grounds to why I never got in a bind with them over ownership and double right. And first off, in Dawnland, they don't have a fair work law. So, you know, and a lot of folks don't know that. A lot of folks seem to think that, every land has fair work. Some do have fair work law underneath their double right ownership law, and some don't. And Dawnland is not one of those. So, that's why a lot of folks, get angry and sad because they think that even if one land doesn't have it, another land should follow it. Well, that's the thing. In their mind, they believe that since Dawnland doesn't have any fair work law, they believe that, that would be the same in other lands. Now, first off, I guess I was lucky. Because back in the day, I did make films with likenesses or drawings. These likenesses or drawings came from sundry websites on YouTube, from Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And I guess I could have been lucky because I could have gotten in the ownership double rate bind over that, but it never happened. Now, a lot of folks might say something like, "Oh, well, you got dolls." Yes, but then dolls were made for folks to buy and gather and play with and show off and whatever. So it would be hard to get ownership and double right over all the dolls. The only thing about dolls is you have to have the deal or the lawful right to make them. And if some business was making dolls without the right to make them, then that would be unlawful. So that's the only way that one could get in a bind with the law over that. So since I don't put anything in my films that is owned and double righted by them, that's why I never gotten in a bind of ownership and double right with Toei. Now, a lot of folks like to say that, you know, like to say that, that how am I going to say this? A lot of folks out there like to say, well, you listen and watch other sagas and tales about that happening, about, oh, well, someone did something and they thought it was fair work and they didn't say it was. So, that's why I play it well. So Toei would never ever come to this YouTube fairway because they wouldn't, since even if they watch every single film that I've made going back to 23rd between FYL for 10 years, they would not see or hear anything in those films, uploads or lives, that they could say was theirs. So that's how I've kept, and that's how I never gotten in a bind with ownership over them, over ownership and double right. And let's be earnest, you know, fair work only works if you happen to be in a land where there is fair work. If you're in a land that doesn't have fair work, well then, there is no thing called fair work. You know? So, at the end of the day, if you don't want to get in a bind with Toei over double right ownership, then don't have anything in your films that they can say that they own or have a double right to. I know that's hard for folks to do because I know in a 401 rights there's a fair work law which is offshooted into the double right ownership law, you know, but sometimes you just have to pick your fights. It's just the way it is. You might believe in fair work, and the 401 rights and sundriest other lands might have the fair work law, and other sundriest lands do not. So, yeah. And I know some folks out there would say, well, some folks would say that, you know, that it's just too hard for them. That they had to have the fair work law. Well, fair work law doesn't work. You know, even if you win against Toei or whoever for ownership or double right, you still are going to go through it again. You know, you can't win every fair work thing there is. So I don't want to get in a bind with Toei over ownership and double right, you know, because I'm not going to win it. I'm not going to know what to say. You know, it would just be a losing fight, you know. So I don't get into it. So I don't put anything in my films that they could say, oh, well, we got ownership and double right over that. You know. So anyway, that's just the end of this film, talking about why I never gotten in a bind with Toei over ownership or double right. And if you like this film, then follow me over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the other film we made yesterday over here when Sailor Venus or Sailor Hellworld Mina talked about, you know, gave her thoughts on payback or yield back. I, Sailor Small Moon Rini, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.